I won't pay a penny of the $1.5 million because she allows me to be with Tim.
Marriage is supposed to be a safe place, a place where trust lives, a place where secrets don't survive, a place where friends don't cross lines. But for Akira Montague, everything she believed about loyalty collapsed, not quietly, not behind closed doors, but in front of millions of strangers watching online. Because the woman who helped destroy her marriage wasn't just another person. She was a friend. She had a family by marriage, and she was a TikTok star with more than 3 million followers. By the time Akira realized what was happening, the damage was already public. Photos were online, videos were shared, comments flooded in, and her private pain became viral content. Akira says the moment she found out, her body reacted before her mind could catch up. She felt dizzy, weak, like she was about to collapse.
Even right now, I don't like going out in public with my kids because I'll get stopped in the store. I can't have fun with my kids to this day because people harass me and so it's hard.
The room spun. Her heart raced. She described it as feeling like she had been struck by something she never saw coming. This wasn't just a cheating scandal. This was betrayal with witnesses. And the humiliation didn't stop when the marriage ended. It followed her into court. It followed her into stores. It followed her children. Strangers recognized her. Strangers judged her. Strangers sent threats. And yet, instead of disappearing, Akira did something no one expected. She fought back. What happened next would turn this deeply personal betrayal into one of the largest courtroom verdicts in North Carolina history, a decision that sent a message far beyond one family. Tonight, we're breaking down the full story. Who Akira Montague really is. How a friendship crossed a line. How social media made everything worse. And how one woman took her pain into a courtroom and forced the world to pay attention. Before we go further, let me ask you this. Do you believe someone outside a marriage should be held responsible for breaking it apart? Drop your answer in the comments, because by the end of this video, you may see loyalty very differently.
Can you get your hair out of my milkshake?
Pick it up!
I'm driving.
Boy, when does that ever stop?
Who is she talking to, bro? Chill out.
Tim, when does that ever... Tim, please. No. When does that ever stop you from picking your drink up?
Before the court verdicts, before the news trucks, before strangers knew her name, Akira Montague lived a life that looked like millions of others. She wasn't chasing fame. She wasn't building an online brand. She wasn't seeking attention. She was building a family. Akira was raised with strong beliefs about commitment and faith. She believed marriage was something sacred, something to protect, something worth sacrificing for. She believed love meant loyalty, even when things were hard. That belief shaped every choice she made. When she married Timothy Montague, she believed she was choosing a partner for life. She believed they were building something real, something steady. Together they became parents. 2 young children entered their lives, both under the age of 7 when everything fell apart. Akira poured herself into motherhood while maintaining her responsibilities at work. She believed in balance. She believed in effort. She has since admitted something that many people quietly relate to. She put her husband first, sometimes before herself. She wanted the marriage to work. She wanted the home, the future, the family. She believed love meant endurance. And from the outside, the marriage did not appear broken. According to court testimony, Akira and Timothy traveled together. They spent time together. They still presented themselves publicly as husband and wife. There was no separation, no legal distance, no open ending, which is important, because under North Carolina law, that detail would later matter more than anyone realized. At this stage of her life, Akira believed her biggest challenges were normal ones: raising children, managing work, and keeping a household running. She did not know someone close to her was quietly stepping into her marriage. The most disturbing betrayals rarely come from strangers. They come from people who already have access. Brene Kennard was not a random person in Akira's life. She wasn't someone I met online. She wasn't a distant acquaintance. She was a friend. Even more shocking, Brene Kennard was married to Timothy Montague's first cousin. That meant the families spent time together. That meant shared gatherings. That meant trust. The couples traveled together. They appeared together in photos. They spent time socially. This wasn't secrecy. This was proximity. And proximity creates opportunity. Brene Kennard was also a social media influencer, someone used to attention, visibility, and public engagement. Her TikTok account had grown to more than 3 million followers. And while Akira lived privately, Brene lived online. At some point, quietly at first, boundaries began to collapse. According to the civil lawsuit, Brene Kennard engaged in verbal flirting with Timothy Montague. That flirting did not stay verbal. Text messages followed, private communication increased, and eventually a sexual relationship began. What makes this case different from countless others is what happened next. Instead of hiding the relationship, Brene allegedly posted content online that hinted at it. She made statements about wanting to become Mrs. Montague. She posted photos and videos that suggested intimacy. She shared moments that millions could see. Akira didn't just lose her marriage, she watched it be displayed. When she finally discovered the truth, her reaction wasn't dramatic. It was physical. Her body responded before her thoughts did. She felt sick. She felt dizzy. She felt like she might faint. And then came the second wave of pain, humiliation. Because strangers already knew. If you're watching right now, I want to know, have you ever seen a relationship destroyed because boundaries were ignored? Tell us in the comments. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be told honestly, hit the like button so more people see it. For Akira Montague, the worst part wasn't just the betrayal, it was how public it became. Social media doesn't pause for grief, it doesn't wait for understanding, and it doesn't protect the innocent. As Brene Kennard's content circulated, Akira watched her personal life become something strangers debated, joked about, and judged. People chose sides without knowing her. Comments turned cruel, messages became aggressive, and while Brene gained attention, Akira lost stability. Her marriage collapsed, her family fractured, her sense of safety disappeared. Eventually, divorce became unavoidable. The marriage ended. And then came another shock. After the divorce was finalized, Timothy Montague married Brene Kennard. The woman who publicly hinted at becoming Mrs. Montague now legally was. For Akira, this wasn't closure, it was confirmation. After the divorce, Akira Montague reached a moment many people face after deep betrayal. Disappear or speak. For weeks, she tried to focus only on her children. She showed up to work. She kept routines steady. But the noise did not stop. Online comments continued. Strangers still recognized her. Her pain was still public. Then came the realization that changed everything. What happened to her was not just personal, it was actionable under the law. North Carolina is one of the few states that still recognizes alienation of affection and criminal conversation. These laws exist to protect marriages that are actively intact at the time a third party interferes. To qualify, 3 things must be proven. The marriage was loving. The marriage was ongoing during the affair. The third party knew the spouse was married. Akira's legal team believed they could prove all 3. This was not about revenge. This was about accountability. Akira hired attorney Robonetta Jones, a lawyer known for handling complex civil cases involving personal harm. From the beginning, Jones understood that this case was not just emotional, it was detailed. Every message mattered. Every post mattered. Every date mattered. The question was simple, but the proof had to be strong. Did Brene Kennard knowingly interfere with an active marriage and help destroy it? Akira made the decision many people are afraid to make. She filed the lawsuit. From the outside, lawsuits look dramatic. Inside, they are slow, exhausting, and invasive. Akira had to relive everything. Her legal team gathered more than 700 pages of evidence, including text messages, photos, videos, social media, posts, travel records. Each item had a purpose. The goal was not to embarrass anyone. The goal was to establish facts. The evidence showed that Akira and Timothy Montague were still living as husband and wife while the affair was happening. They traveled together. They spent time together. They presented themselves publicly as married. This mattered. The evidence also showed that Brene Kennard knew Timothy Montague was married. She had spent time with both Akira and Timothy together. She was connected to the family through marriage. This mattered too. Then came the most damaging evidence of all, posts and messages where Brene Kennard openly hinted at becoming Mrs. Montague, not private messages. Public-facing content viewed by millions. Akira's attorney argued that this behavior went beyond a private affair. It added public humiliation to personal harm. Brene Kennard's legal team attempted to shut the case down early. They filed a motion claiming that some of the evidence was obtained improperly. A judge reviewed the request and denied it. The case moved forward. The trial took place in Durham County, North Carolina. Inside the courtroom, the story shifted from online noise to sworn testimony. Jurors listened as Akira described how she found out about the affair. She spoke about the physical shock, the dizziness, the disbelief. The moment her reality changed, she explained how her marriage did not end quietly. It ended under public attention. Her attorney reminded the jury that this was not about controlling adults. It was about responsibility. Brene Kennard was not accused of forcing anyone. She was accused of knowingly stepping into a marriage and helping destroy it. The prosecution laid out the evidence carefully. They showed messages. They showed posts. They showed timelines. They explained how Brene Kennard's actions went beyond a single choice and became a pattern. Kennard's defense denied the allegations. She argued that Akira was simply angry over the divorce. She denied wrongdoing. She denied responsibility. At one point, according to court reporting, Kennard suggested Akira was bitter because she lost her husband. That statement did not land the way the defense may have hoped. Jurors were asked to decide one thing. Did Brene Kennard's actions meet the legal definition of alienation of affection and criminal conversation? After hearing everything, the jury went into deliberation. Quick question before we continue. If you were on this jury, would public behavior matter to you or only private actions? Tell us below. And if this case is making you rethink loyalty and responsibility, subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this story. When the jury returned, the room was silent. Then the numbers were read. $1.5 million for alienation of affection, $250,000 for criminal conversation. Total, $1.75 million. It was one of the largest awards of its kind in North Carolina history. The jury had spoken clearly. They believed the marriage was real. The interference was knowing, the harm was severe. For Akira, the verdict was not a celebration. It was released. She later said the weight was lifted only after the decision. The years of holding everything in finally loosened. Her attorney explained the ruling in simple terms. The law recognized the humiliation. The law recognized the loss. The law recognized the damage. Outside the courtroom, the case exploded. News outlets across the country picked it up. International media followed. Social media debates restarted. Some praised Akira for standing up for herself. Others criticized the laws themselves, but the attention did not fade. Akira returned to work after the verdict. Some co-workers assumed she would never come back. Others treated her differently. She spoke openly about her plans. Finishing college, buying a home, creating stability for her children. Her children, however, paid a heavy price. Akira revealed that she and her kids received online threats, hate messages, aggressive comments. She said she avoids public places because strangers stop her in stores. Some want photos, others want opinions, some want conflict. For a mother trying to protect two young children, this was exhausting. Meanwhile, Brené Kennard and Timothy Montague remained married. Akira made one thing clear in interviews. She does not believe Kennard regrets what happened. She believes the damage was accepted as the cost of getting what she wanted. This story did not go viral by accident. It struck a nerve because it touched on fears many people already have. Fear of betrayal, fear of public shame, fear of being replaced. It also raised hard questions. Does fame change accountability? Should private behavior become public when it causes harm? Should the law protect marriages from outside interference? Akira became a voice not because she wanted to be, but because many people recognized themselves in her. Women wrote messages saying they had lost marriages to friends. Men wrote messages saying they had ignored boundaries too long. The case forced a conversation few people wanted, but many needed. This story offers real lessons. First, access matters. The closer someone is to your life, the more damage they can cause. Second, public behavior has consequences. When harm is shared publicly, it multiplies. Third, loyalty requires action, not words. Commitment must be protected daily. Fourth, silence protects the wrong people. Akira's decision to speak changed the outcome. Fifth, know the laws where you live. Legal knowledge gives people options when everything feels lost. Long after the court verdict was announced, Akira Montague still woke up carrying weight no number could erase. Betrayal does not end when papers are signed. It doesn't end when a judge speaks. And it doesn't end when headlines move on. For Akira, the deepest wounds were not financial. They were emotional. Trust was no longer simple. Friendship no longer felt safe. Privacy no longer existed. When someone crosses a line, it changes how the mind protects itself. Akira explained that she questioned everything afterward. Memories, conversations, moments she once thought were real. She wondered, was I blind? Was I ignored? Was I ever enough? These questions are common after betrayal, but Akira faced them while strangers debated her life online. The humiliation was layered. There was the loss of her marriage. There was the loss of her future plans. And there was the loss of control over her story. People who had never met her decided who she was. Some painted her as strong. Others painted her as angry. Some accused her of seeking money. Very few understood the cost of being exposed this way. Akira did not ask to be a symbol. She did not ask to represent anyone. She only wanted her life back. But once a story becomes public, it stops belonging only to the person who lived it. The most painful part of Akira's story has nothing to do with courtrooms or verdicts. It has to do with two children. At the time everything unfolded, Akira's kids were just 4 and 6 years old. Too young to understand why strangers recognized their mother. Too young to understand why people stared. Akira tried to shield them. She limited what they saw online. She avoided conversations near them. She worked to keep routines normal, but the outside world pushed in. Akira shared that she and her children received threats, messages filled with anger, messages that crossed lines no child should ever be near. She stopped enjoying simple outings. Grocery stores became stressful. Public places became risky. Even small moments felt exposed. She described being stopped by strangers while holding her children's hands. Some asked questions, others offered opinions. A few showed hostility. For a mother, that fear never turns off. Akira's goal became simple. Protect the kids first. She avoided unnecessary exposure. She limited public appearances. She focused on rebuilding stability. This is the part of the story rarely discussed. When adults betray each other publicly, children pay privately. They lose routine. They lose security. They lose the version of family they knew. Akira made one promise clear. No matter what happened between adults, her children would not carry the blame. After the jury award, many people assumed Akira's life suddenly became easy. It didn't. Money does not erase memory, it does not restore trust, and it does not quiet attention. Akira returned to her job. Some co-workers were supportive, others treated her differently. A few assumed she would quit or disappear. She didn't. She went back because normal life mattered. She also spoke about her future plans. Finishing college, buying a home, creating long-term security for her kids. These were not luxury goals. They were survival goals. Akira wanted control again. Control over her time, her space, her future. She avoided the media unless necessary. She chose when to speak. She learned when silence was power. The verdict gave her legal validation, but rebuilding her identity took longer. She was no longer just a wife. She was no longer just a victim. She became a woman who endured public betrayal and refused to disappear. No one walks away unchanged from a case like this. She gained validation but lost privacy. Her name will always be connected to this story. But she also gained something less visible. The knowledge that her pain mattered enough to be recognized. Timothy Montague lost his marriage, his family structure, and much of his privacy. His choices reshaped multiple lives, including his children's. Brene Kennard gained a husband but became widely criticized. Her online fame shifted. Instead of being known only as an influencer, she became a central figure in a legal case debated worldwide. Her attorney denied wrongdoing. She denied responsibility. But public opinion is not controlled by verdicts alone. Some viewers saw her as fearless, others saw her as reckless. Many saw her as a warning. This case became a reminder that public actions create permanent records. Years from now, people will still talk about this case, not because of the dollar amount, but because it forced uncomfortable conversations. Can friendships survive blurred lines? Should social platforms amplify private harm? Does popularity reduce accountability? Akira Montague's story became a mirror. People saw their own fears reflected back. Fear of being replaced, fear of being exposed, fear of trusting the wrong person. This case wasn't about perfection. It was about responsibility. And responsibility doesn't disappear when someone has followers. Here's what this story teaches us. Boundaries protect more than feelings. They protect families. Visibility changes consequences. What happens online lasts. Silence favors the wrong side. Speaking up can shift power. Children are never just observers. They feel everything. Healing is not instant. It is intentional. Akira Montague did not choose this story, but she chose how it ended. Betrayal doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it smiles at you. Sometimes it sits at your table. Sometimes it holds your secrets. Akira Montague trusted people who were close, and when that trust broke, it didn't break quietly. It broke publicly. But what defines this story is not who took what. It's who stood up when everything collapsed. Akira stood up in court. She stood up for her children. She stood up for herself. And whether people agree with the law or not, the message was clear. Loyalty still matters. Actions still matter. And harm still has consequences. If this story made you think, share it. If it made you question trust, talk about it. And if you believe people deserve accountability when lines are crossed, make sure stories like this are heard. If you stayed until the end, thank you. Do you believe cases like this protect families or punish relationships? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share if you want more real stories told with honesty.